Well, another pay-per-view happened. And if you were able to get past, I don't know what the first couple hours were, there were some really important things that you probably would have liked to have seen. You just had to get through it.
Also wasn't in the last few hours.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of something for everyone, indeed. Welcome to another edition of a wrestling podcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. I am, as always, your moderator. I was awake during some things. Not the good stuff. Not even close. Joining me, as always, is Ashley.
Yeah. Can we just get to the important stuff before we get to the pay-per-view talk?
Yeah, the G1 is we're gonna be day 3.
No. I'd say the biggest news today is Hogan's back in WWE.
I was gonna get to that.
I'd say that's the biggest news. You know, apparently you can be racist now in the WWE. So yeah, after 3 years of being supposedly banned, Hogan's been reinstated. So apparently he was actually there tonight in some capacity, just backstage. I thought he was going to come out because we know how he's like. Amazingly, he didn't.
Weirdly enough, it sounds like from what Brian was saying, it was that there was a WWE Network special that they're filming clips for, and his speech he did in the locker room where he apologized for everything was filmed for the network.
I see shenanigans.
At least that's what Brian was saying on Twitter. So, and I don't know, he might be a little bit discombobulated from having to eat the double drop kick last night from the Rock and Roll Express.
Chopping and chopping.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting to see what happens with that, because I've got a feeling something's going to happen from it.
Could have a new SmackDown general manager, possibly.
I think Paige has done a pretty good job for what it is. I'd say that's a bit harsh. Maybe replacing Angle. Because if Angle's gonna be doing more matches now, a la bloody Daniel Bryan, frees that up, doesn't it?
Well, think about it this way. I mean, not necessarily replacing Angle, because there can be two people in SmackDown. Don't forget, we did have we have a Shane McMahon spot that's never been filled yet.
True.
So that could be where Hogan comes in.
Then I guess we're getting to the other important news that isn't G1 or WWE. We have the broadcasting team set for All In.
Dear God.
So on interview duty is going to be Alicia Atu from Impact and Canada, and from nowhere, Sean Mooney. Mooney's back. On ring announcing, Bobby Cruz and Justin Roberts. And the 3-man announce booth is Ian Riccoboni, Don Callis, and Excalibur.
Dear God.
For independent, dream people to get in, that at the minute I'd say is probably the 3 that you'd want.
To me, there's one person missing from the actual ring announcing team that I'm kind of surprised they didn't go with. Just because he is the voice that I grew up on, the person I want to hear do the ring announcing for All In is Gary Michael Capetta.
Yeah. Or Melissa Santos. But I think that's, by the looks of it, it's because they've said that there will be internet streaming and pay-per-view, which makes me think it's probably going to be on Fight TV.
Which pretty much solidifies the fact that I probably could say without any shadow of a doubt that Popcast Network is most certainly All In.
In some shape or form, yeah.
That'll be a live show. I almost can guarantee that right now.
Oh yeah, over Labor Day weekend, whatever that is. So then I guess the other thing we could cover is we have our first 6 names now for the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah.
The first of which was a surprise, the return of Celeste Bonin, aka Caitlyn, from out of nowhere, which I think was a bit sort of weird. But then at the same time, after that, you had the sort of obvious names, if you will, of Io Shirai show up. Announced. Also, Rhea Ripley making her return after last year's tournament. But then Nicole Matthews is going to be in, who was an alternate for last year, but never obviously got involved. Then we've also got, have a quick look, Casey Catanzo, who's been in the Performance Center for like a year, but she's one of the American Ninja Warrior people. And most importantly to me, especially after the fact we never saw her on the UK tournament stuff, Ginny's going to be in. So I'm pleased to see that they're going to be doing stuff with her. Speaking of, I think it's 2 weeks' time now that the UK tapings are happening. It's worth noting they didn't bring up the NXT UK stuff as being on the network in the next months or so. They had Edge and Christian. They had Mae Young Classic 2. They had all the other stuff like the WWE 24 on Ronda and the 365 on AJ. But nothing else. That's whether that does mean it's going somewhere, we'll have to see. So then, yeah, G1. So night 1 was arguably the big surprise night. Makabe beat Yoshihashi.
Yep.
Which was a pretty solid match. Paige beating Fale by DQ.
Not surprising, given the direction that we're going with this Firing Squad Bullet Club angle.
Elgin beating Evil. Which, in the shape that Elgin's in, I can see why.
Mm-hmm.
Tanahashi beat Suzuki. In revenge for just everything in general. Right. And then Jay White beating Okada.
That's a unique one. I don't know what to think about that. Not the direction I would have gone.
They always like doing the surprises, though, in the first day or so. And then day 2, which was yesterday.
Yep.
Or earlier today, I guess I should say. The big angles here. At least in Block B. Ishii beating Yano.
Not much of a surprise there.
In a match that went nearly 9 minutes, though, which for a Yano match is long.
Yeah, no lie.
Tama Tonga beat Juice Robinson.
I understand why they had to do that. They have to build Tonga up because he's got to be the corner. He's the cornerstone of this. Is going to be one of the things.
It's not
He's
far,
got to
even
be
though
big.
from the YouTube channel, Farley gave the order. He isn't the leader. Oh, yeah, because nobody's a leader.
There's no leader,
But there's
yeah.
got to be a leader.
He's got to be the leader when it comes to the G1, though. He's got to be the one that makes the impact.
Goto beat Sonada. And then, who gives a fuck about any of the rest of it? The two best matches of the day. Ibushi beating Zack Sabre Jr. in about 23 minutes. And then also in about 23 minutes, Omega beating Naito in his revenge for what went down in Thingamy Bob.
There's some comments in chat, actually.
The G1 finals from last year. And coming up in the number of hours, we got Yoshihashi versus Evil, Okada versus Farley, Elgin versus Page, and then the two big ones that they seem to be focused on, at least from the artwork of the thumbnail for the New Japan World, Makabe and Suzuki, and Tanahashi Switchblade Jay White.
See, I'm telling you right now, I'm thinking that Jay White's beating Tanahashi because he's going to start off his G1 with two wins over two of the top names in New Japan. And that could either be like springboards to greatness, or that could be like his last stand too.
Mm-hmm.
I beat Okada, I beat Tanahashi, and then I jobbed the rest of the G1. I could see that being a possibility. Which showed up in chat. He said G1 special was great. Since he last listened to the network, he said he watched 3 New Japan shows and Ring of Honor Live. He's been converted. This will be the first time he's ever paid for a pay-per-view.
Wow. Well, I guess that's good.
Nice.
Oh, and the other news, bloody, what was it? World Class Wrestling Revolution is hiring Farrah Abraham.
Oh God.
The teen mom woman that went into porn and then gave up and had a singing career and gave up. He's now going into wrestling. It's worth noting that I think, at least from the notes that I've got here, Jessie Jane, who is another porn star, has worked with them before and is apparently coming back in August as well. So I've got a feeling the porn star's going to become a tag team because boo.
Just a little bit ago, we had one of the matches that has been a big deal on the internet lately is the ongoing war that started on Twitter, then it became promos, then it became a reality between RJ City and David Arquette. They finally had their big match.
That's been happening tonight as well.
Apparently, from what everybody said, it went off without a hitch. RJ City went over. That's all we know. We can't get any information. I did see a GIF on the internet that showcased the diamond cutter that he hit on RJ. That was part of the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood show earlier tonight, the television tapings.
Pro Wrestling East stuff looked very interesting. Obviously, we'll cover that on
Day to be announced.
Tuesday, is it?
Tuesday or Wednesday, date to be announced. Haven't quite decided when yet.
Oh, and Viper's over in Stardom right now. And Britt Baker. Okay, I approve of that. Getting some good experience. Oh, and it looks as if per New Japan having their big show in America, the Havoc Will Ospreay match at Wembley might not be able to happen. Which is a bit of a shame.
Well, obviously, that's another thing that's big news right now is the fact that Popcast Network most likely will not be covering NXT TakeOver WrestleMania weekend.
Oh, well, yeah, Supercard of Honor is combining with New Japan G1 to create the G1 Supercard, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's going to be on New Japan World. I don't know whether it's going to be on Honor Club. It might be on both. It might be on neither. I mean, I don't know whether there's any other sporting events going on that weekend. Because in theory, they could at least put that on pay-per-view, because if it's the day before Mania, it won't clash, will it?
Mm-hmm. This is correct.
But then the other issue is if UFC is going to have a pay-per-view on at that time, that'll obviously take precedence over the niche market of Ring of Honor and New Japan.
Not on this network, but I understand what you mean.
But same goes if there's like a big boxing bout that they decide to put on as well in early April. So we'll have to see what happens there. I'd love it that it would be, but we'll see. Oh, and the other thing that they announced, because they announced the schedule for the matches that aren't G1 matches over the tournament gap, Rey Mysterio is apparently wrestling on the final day of a G1 climax against somebody. We don't know who. Because I guess it will come out through whatever happens at various places. There is rumor that they don't want Rey Mysterio, WWE don't want Rey doing All In. Well, unless he's contracted, you know.
Can't really stop him.
No. And I guess the bit that I want to mention here, just because I'll laugh about it too much on day to be announced. Glow got 10 Emmy nominations. WWE got fuck all. Lol. Lol. Big fucking lol. Anyway, wrestling happened tonight. So, starting off with the pre-show.
Yeah.
Almas and Sin Cara.
God.
I don't think it was as good as the SmackDown match that they had, but it was still solid. For a pre-show match, it was still actually better than half the matches on the pay-per-view.
There was a lot of really rough spots in that match. I do like the tip up that was converted into like the modified Canadian Destroyer. I like that. I like that spot. I like how they're using that lately. Obviously the shout out to Naito, given the fact showing Sombra's original Los Ingobernables past. I thought that was nice.
Well, how else do you get away with Tranquilo?
Or Tranquillo, according to Corey Graves. Oh my god.
You saying he doesn't know the Mexican language?
I mean, oh boy.
Are we trying to say he's racist?
No, I'll never say that. Yeah, match ends, of course, with Zelina getting on the ring apron after the frog splash, and next thing you know, Almas hits the shotgun knees in the corner, finishes him off with the hammerlock DDT. Yeah, it was solid for what it was, but there was just a couple really rough spots during the match. Mm-hmm. Then we had Shinsuke Nakamura live from the the Southern man who is being asked what the tornado sounded like. To go with a Jeff Foxworthy bit from back in the day.
Wow, we're dropping some Jeff in.
Yep.
That's actually scaring me.
A Jeff on this network without mentioning of gold. So
true. Actually, sort of true. Annoyingly true. So, following that, we had the Sanity New Day thing. Why was it only one table? I'm disappointed.
I don't know what they're trying to do with Sanity. I don't think they've connected with the mainstream audience yet. Can we just not gloss over the fact that Damo's shirt now as Killian Dane looks like something that Bray Wyatt used to wear?
He is stealing lots of fucking gimmicks.
I literally have a Bray Wyatt shirt in my closet that I could, and they can't really see from here because it's like there's a door in the way. But still, there is a Bray Wyatt shirt that exists in my closet that I've worn to Halloween Horror Nights before that looks almost identical to the shirt that Killian Dane was wearing tonight.
So we're trying to say that he stole your shit.
Yeah, weird, awkward finish on this match. I mean, the double stomp off the top, that was nice, but it looked a lot better. Okay, it came off a lot worse than it should have. Because obviously it's one of those weird things because they set up the double power bomb and Kofi came off the top with the double stomp. Well, the thing is, when Kofi came off the top with the double stomp, in actuality, it was more like a glancing blow to the shoulders because that's what you had to do to make it work without killing someone.
All the murders.
Yeah, the weird superstar elbow from Eric Young off the top that put Kofi through the table. Something just doesn't stir the Kool-Aid about Alexander Wolf. I don't know why. He just sticks out like a sore thumb in Sanity, like all day, every day.
No, I'd say that's fair.
Because if it was Dane and Young as the tag team, I'd be okay with that. And I tuned this in like midway through, and I came in and I was like, okay, I thought this was a 6-man, and then because I see nobody outside the ring, and I was like, oh, okay, they did a spot, took everybody out first. Okay, I get it. That's fine. But that happened. Sanity needed the win, to be honest. Or have they already did the tag match on SmackDown? I'm gonna guess to build up to it. Okay. Because if not, obviously that would be coming up this week. But now that's already happened, maybe they can move on and Sanity could actually become closer in contention for the tag team titles.
We get into the pay-per-view portion. Starting off with the Deleters of Worlds versus the B Team for the Raw Tag Titles. Oh, sorry. I need to make a note of them. The Almas Sin Cara match went 7 minutes. Sanity New Day went 8 minutes. This is an important fact. We'll get to it. So I think this sort of delivered.
Yeah, I mean, you had to, given the fact that technically they're pushing an undefeated streak for the B Team. So there's a lot of different directions to go with this. I know a lot of people might be thinking to be like playing devil's advocate to think that the Deleters of Worlds lost the belts because of Bray's running with the law.
Don't play devil's advocate. You don't want to be Al Pacino.
But yeah, I mean, it's a possibility that was the case. But then again, having the Hardys lose all was actually a theme of tonight's show. So, but we'll get to that later. Bo Dallas gets the win on Matt Hardy with the rope-assisted corkscrew neck breaker. Decent stuff here for what it was, and the B team moves on to the next challengers, which, I mean, the way that it's built up, it looks like it's going to be the Authors of Pain, but the only problem with that is that makes no sense whatsoever.
When has wrestling made fucking sense?
No, Ashley. When has WWE made sense?
Well, yeah.
I can think of a lot of companies that would make a lot of sense.
Not Shikara.
No, they're kind of by themselves not making sense. That's kind of their milieu, so it's okay. Speaking of things that don't make sense, Baron Corbin has made me realize a lot of things.
And then,
Number
of course, one. Oh, good.
Well, I really think that the evolution has begun because you have been calling him Baron Corbin, Billy Corgan for the longest time, and now I think that they've pretty much melded into one.
Well, no, because we need to bring up the Kurt Angle interview.
But first, we're getting to Kurt Angle's proposition to Brock Lesnar, to say the least.
Yeah, Brock ain't interested in coming back. Brock's refusing to face anybody. So I'm giving an ultimatum. Either he shows up on Raw tomorrow, or we can come to an agreement for the date of when he's challenging the title, defending the title next. Or we'll strip him naked. I've realized people are sleeping. I shouldn't be shouting.
Oh, God. Considering the fact that it was announced earlier this week that Paul Heyman has officially joined the writing team for Raw, I would say
Buffalo gets Brock tomorrow, I'm guessing there.
Yep, I'd say so. So if you're going to the Buffalo Raw tomorrow night, then you got a really good chance of seeing Brock Lesnar.
So now it's time for shit Jordan Devlin versus just shit. I can't say Baron Corbin, Billy Corgan anymore because he's bloody William. Ruins the bloody joke. God damn you, Corgan.
This match is a thing.
Oh, B Team and Deleters of World won 8 minutes. This match, 8 minutes and 20. Notice a trend. I mean, I don't know. It happened.
I mean, hopefully this is the end of it. Balor wins clean. With an inside cradle of all things, too.
The package was small, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we always complain about having the same finish like 35 times in a card. And there's a lot of roll-up finishes nowadays, but luckily tonight, that did not happen. So it stuck out, not like a sore thumb, it actually stuck out like a welcome change to what it could have been. But, I mean, let's hope this is over. But then again, it's not a decisive win, so maybe it's not. Balor needs to move on to bigger and better things.
And we had the bit with Bludgeon Brothers beating the shit out of Team Hell No randomly backstage.
Yeah, apparently Kane's having has a foot issue right now, so that's the reason why they pretty much wrote him out of the match.
And Paige shook her ass in. Like,
indeed.
Is that smart attire for a GM? Smart casual day or something? And then part 1 of women's wrestling. Yay. Carmella and Asuka with the shark cage. This went 5.5 minutes.
It sucks so bad. James Ellsworth, I have been bashing since day one. And then he got a reprieve when he was doing the stuff with Grimm's Toy Show. That stuff was fantastic. And he came in, and I'm like, well, with the way WWE is working, they're not going to do obviously they're not going to do man-on-woman violence, but woman-on-man violence is okay because Ellsworth took a kicking quite literally in this match.
Let's break it down. Because within 30 seconds, one, the cage was not as high up as it's ever been before.
No, not at all.
So within 30 seconds, Ellsworth threw a chain down. Then Ellsworth threw down some sort of hairspray. Asuka blocked it. Then the clever spot, Ellsworth somehow picked the lock of the shark cage and got out, but ended up hanging upside down. Full credit to Ellsworth for hanging upside down for that long.
I mean, it was very unique to say the least. It's not a direction we've gone before, so at least it's made it fresh and new.
Can we have James Ellsworth dangling on a pole for the next match? Just from the ankle down. So apparently he can do it. Asuka was kicking the shit out of him. The ring crew came in to try and put Ellsworth back in the cage, but Asuka threw him out and took him out. And then Carmella showed up, threw Asuka's head into the edge of the cage. The reason why this match was okay was Ellsworth, not any of the women's wrestling action, if it even fucking happened.
He was literally the only good part of the entire match, and I never thought I would live to say that. But
I mean, what have they done to Asuka?
That is the power of Grimm's Tour Show. And the thing is, yeah, that's a really good question. What's been done to Asuka? I mean, the way she's booked right now, she might as well be on Raw.
Coming at SummerSlam for Carmella.
I guess I don't really care.
But and indeed, Then it's time for the first time ever dream match between Hardy and Nakamura. I'm pausing because I'm trying to make the pause last longer than the match. So before the bell could even ring with the referee taking away the title, Nakamura low blows Jeff. The ref goes, checks on him, and says to Jeff, "You're all right to continue." And Jeff's just like, "Yeah." Ring the bell, Kinshasa, 1, 2, 3. Nakamura wins in 6 seconds. Then Randy Orton came out. And Orton stomped Hardy in the fucking balls. So Orton turned heel to face a heel at SummerSlam. What the fuck?
I have no words. I can say that right now about a lot of things with this company, but my God, I have no words.
This booking for this one match just made me just go, I don't care about the rest of the show. This alone just made it completely pointless.
Yep, I can see that.
It doesn't matter.
No, it's not.
Why can't Orton be like a face? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's confusing as all fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, I obviously have been like not watching the SmackDown brand at all, and is there a reasoning for this?
Who the hell knows?
And my guess, the answer is no. Then.
I mean, that's all I really. That's all I can say. You know, it's just.
I thought you were taking my outro for a second there. Bye, folks.
That's how I don't know whether this was some sort of rib at Jeff because of the recent broadcast of the Impact Wrestling "You're Not Fit to Compete" thing.
Maybe.
I don't know. I just let's see where it goes, but so now it's the Hell in a Cell match between Mick Foley and Undertaker.
Yep, that's exactly right. In Pittsburgh. In freaking Pittsburgh.
In the arena.
Well, it's not the same building, obviously. Civic Arena got torn down, but yeah,
no, but it's the new,
the new Civic Arena, basically.
Yeah. Where's the fucking paint? Yeah. So basically, it was a Strowman squash match, but then Kevin managed to handcuff him to one of a corner. But Strowman managed to break out the handcuffs, climb to the top of the cage, and so he grabbed Owens on top of the cage and threw him through the German announce table.
And of course, the wonderful air mattress from WrestleMania's past from Shane McMahon reared its ugly head at the end of this segment because
yeah, but not as obviously. It did what it had to do because it was there, but then by the time that the table collapsed, it flattened down, so you couldn't really see the air mattress.
Well, I mean, I saw it out of the corner of my eye, but the thing about it is you have to look at the fact that when Owens got thrown off the top of the cage, his head cracked the top of the actual table itself. Because when you watch it in slow-mo, obviously, given the fact that hindsight being 2020, obviously going back to what happened with Mick Foley in Hell in a Cell, and the fact that this was not as high, thankfully, one of the things you would notice is the fact that Owens braced himself right before impact, and if he wouldn't have, he could have broke his neck.
Oh, for sure.
Easily. Because he had his arms right in the fall position right before he hit and he still cracked the back of his head against the table before it collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
Owens is a sympathetic babyface here. I don't care what the company's doing. Owens is the babyface, without a doubt. Nothing he has done makes him a heel whatsoever.
This is what happens when Brock isn't in the company.
Yeah. And I mean, it's possible that if he did the stretcher job to get him off TV for a little bit, that maybe, just maybe, when he comes back, they're going to have the sympathy and finally turn him face.
Simpy. Yeah. Where's the Simpy?
With Sami Zayn being off television, obviously, for the injury, it's possible that maybe they're going to turn Owens babyface. Officially this time.
So now it's the Bludgeon Brothers versus Daniel Bryan in a handicap match. And then Kane did show up with a walking boot on.
That looks so awkward. He looked like he was a motocross racer.
Vote Glenn Jacobs.
Exactly.
But yeah, Bryan got Doomsday deviced and Bludgeon Brothers retain. I guess it's Sanity versus them.
Yeah,
I don't know how that's going to work for SummerSlam. at all.
I mean,
and again, the impressive thing is they didn't do any stupid shenanigans with anything else. When you think about it.
well, I mean, you set that up as the possible program for SummerSlam. But here's the issue. There are unconfirmed reports at this moment that Brian resigned.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, if you look at this kind of a finish, with Brian losing basically clean, they've also set it up that if he wasn't to have re-signed, they're basically getting all the eggs in the basket before he leaves the company.
Mm-hmm.
This match was a double meaning, really. If they would have won clean tonight, I would have said there's a lot more stock in Brian resigning. But they left it ambiguous right now, that if he will or not. Just because rumors are stating that he did doesn't necessarily mean that's true.
We'll have to see.
I mean, he would be a really big asset to the Madison Square Garden show for sure.
But if they're giving him good stuff and the limited dates that he is sort of doing at the minute,
yeah, on the house shows,
he's gradually getting into doing more and more shows, but they aren't doing it instantaneously. So
he's getting more good stuff on the house shows. He's not really getting much on television. I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, if he resigns, then more power to him. There's a reason for it. But I mean, from a completely nothing but a wrestling perspective, I mean, this wasn't a burial or anything. It's just one of those things that was kind of like definitive. You could have set up the fact that Kane like inadvertently cost Brian the match, which actually kind of didn't happen. There basically all signs were pointing to the fact we would find out who Brian's opponent for SummerSlam was going to be after this match, and we might have to wait until SmackDown this week to find out. If they're going to move forward with Brian and Miz, which they possibly will, of course, Miz had to do that celebrity softball thing today, so that's the reason why he wasn't on Extreme Rules. So they could set that up on SmackDown. I guess we'll see where we're going from here, because obviously Miz is going to be followed by a camera crew now moving forward with Miz and Mrs. show. It's going to be starting on USA. And unlike anything involving the Bellas, I will watch this because I'm a big Mike Mizanin supporter and have been since day one. Everyone knows that has been following this network for the last 4 years.
The Miz and the Mrs. Missy Moo.
And then we had, to quote Ben Folds 5, fight the battle of who could care less.
I'm just amazed they didn't have it as the main event.
I'm not. I think they got cold feet and realized, yeah, this isn't a good idea.
People might actually walk out. Fuck.
So of course we ended up having the spear battle, the Raw spear versus the murder death kill, with unofficially the challenger for Brock Lesnar, even though it's not officially been announced anything. Unofficially the challenger for Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. So it looks like we're going to be getting the MMA battle in a WWE ring.
Or no, as Vince will look at it. Hey, this Bobby Lashley guy, he looks a lot fucking like Daniel Cormier. We'll give him a preview. Yeah.
Hey Vince, do you remember when he helped get your head shaved potentially at WrestleMania? I mean, you don't know, you don't? Okay, that's all right. Just making sure.
No, it's like, who the fuck is Donald Trump? Yeah.
This match was all sorts of fun. Nothing to this match at all. Typical match between these two. A match that this show felt like a 4-hour Raw.
Yeah.
With a 4-hour Raw with a couple good matches sprinkled in. There is no point for this to be a pay-per-view at all.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, you're burning your crowd out. You're going to have a lot more Pittsburgh crowds moving forward.
Ooh, that becomes a factor for later on. Worth noting as well, because I forgot the times. Owens and Strowman, 8 minutes 5 seconds. Bludgeon Brothers, hell no, 8 minutes 20. This one went 40 minutes and 50 seconds. It felt like it went 40. It was just like, ugh.
Luckily, the start of Owens' nap time began during this match.
Yeah.
And that was before I shifted to laying down in my bed instead of sitting in my chair.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of other things I don't care about, the women's championship on Raw.
Oh, the Extreme Rules match. Don't worry, guys. It's going to be extreme.
Yeah, certainly.
And by that, we mean fucking terrible. So, this match.
Yeah, this is fun. There was something that came out earlier this week about WWE wanting to put together an all women's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to bring out a lot of outside talent because right now the way that they've booked the women's division on both programs is just abysmal.
Well, Mickie James kept throwing Alexa weapons.
Yes.
And Nia stopped them. Then, of course, Ronda just decided to hop the rail and get involved. Who got smacked with a kendo stick.
Which Alexa got whacked in the top of the head, too, and she sold it.
Yeah. I saw that, and, it's like Mickey's attacking the wrong person.
One of my best friends in the chat, Tim, says, "Hey, guys, the women's match sucks." Yes, indeed.
Which one?
You have to be more specific, Tim. I think I agree with both of them, though. Well, I mean, again, I've been really heavily critical on Carmella in the past. I don't care at all. I mean, now with Alexa, I really like Alexa a lot. I don't like Nia Jax. I never have. The fact that they booked her to be a babyface and they turned her heel again for Ronda, and now she's kind of like stuck in limbo. Doesn't make any sense. And now we're moving to basically our SummerSlam program is Ronda winning the title off Alexa Bliss.
More than likely.
With no challengers in sight afterwards, because they have not built up anyone at this point.
But just in general, fucking
Asuka would have been nice if they didn't ruin her booking.
That match went 7.5 minutes, by the way.
God, it felt like it too.
So the women's matches went less together combined than Lashley and Reigns in the last 2 matches of the night.
So many awkward weapon shots in this match.
I mean, well, the finish was weird in itself. Jackson for the Samoan drop. Mickey hits her in the back with a chair. And Bliss hits her with a chair. And then the DDT on a chair. It was like, okay.
It was overkill is what it was.
Yeah. Extreme Rules match. I've got every chance to get you, but Alexa has backup. I mean, technically, Nia did as well with Natalya and Ronda, but still. They then officially announced that Jeff Hardy's facing Nakamura on Tuesday. So rather than do it on pay-per-view, they're doing it on television, which isn't on Fox until next year. Which apparently some international media website was saying it was this year.
God.
Somebody didn't pay attention to the press release.
Hurts my head to think about it.
AJ and Rusev, damn good.
Oh yeah, of course.
And they didn't bury Rusev as much as I feared they would.
No, I do like the fact that we're in Pittsburgh and you had Aiden English came out right away. Even though he was healing on the crowd, he was still wearing the black and gold. So he was trying to
yeah, that's brilliant.
endear himself to the crowd.
He's healing on the crowd, even though the idea is the fans are going to be cheering Rusev because he's Rusev.
It was wearing Steelers colors, so I mean, he was doing something. He was basically trying to get over, but everything he did just didn't work that way.
Nope.
I like Rusev. I like the way Rusev is over now. It's wonderful.
Wonderful.
It was a good, solid back and forth match. Like everybody got to get their stuff in. They got to get a lot of great reversals, and I like the calf crusher with Aiden English pushing the rope closer so Rusev could get the rope break. I thought that was nice.
That was pretty well done.
Machka kick, basically staggered back into the Pele. I thought that was nice. And the fact that Rusev's leg got worked the entire match and he wasn't able to lock on the accolade is pretty much his undoing. Rusev eats the buckle, which of course was exposed. Springboard 450. Rusev gets a kick out at the last second and then takes Aiden out. When he tries to interfere, hits the springboard forearm and gets the win.
Of course he did.
Yeah, it was good. Really good. One of the better easily one of the better matches on the show, but then again, everyone was expecting that. Yeah, Tim, Dean Ambrose will probably be coming back sooner rather than later, but I would say maybe SummerSlam, and maybe after SummerSlam if I had to guess at this rate.
I mean, the rate we're going, he never will be back.
I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with that at this point.
So, yeah. The main event was the Iron Man match.
Well, okay. Like you had said earlier, and you brought it up on this show before many times, think about it from the perspective of this. The Intercontinental title, for all intents and purposes, is the #1 title on the brand. You got your workhorses in a match. You got your most over babyface in the main event. You've got 30 guaranteed minutes of back and forth wrestling in a hot crowd. Well, not really tonight, but usually a hot crowd, a hot city for WWE. Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense that they did this. And once again, as always, Dolph Ziggler continues his epic turn into Shawn Michaels.
It's just, I don't know. I think it's just interesting how it worked.
Diesel and Shawn for the 2K18 for the win.
Probably.
So good. Rollins gets the first fall with the Lamahi straw off the buckle bomb. And then he gets the blackout and gets the second fall. So he's up 2-all. He goes up for the third time when I believe the line that Vinny likes to use, he was disqualified for beating too much ass, kicking too much ass.
DS.
Drew McIntyre kicking too much ass, of course. There you go.
So, the big thing the big thing is this crowd. I've got a feeling because they'd been there for so long, they just gave up.
Oh, totally. I'm telling you, Ashley, this is the reason why WWE cannot do 4-hour shows. It is not a good idea, ever. We're going to have a time. There's going to be a time in the very near future, WrestleMania is going to be 10 hours long.
don't.
I do not want that to happen.
I love that fame news thing that I saw saying that Raw's going 5 hours as of next week.
Yeah, it did. It was called Extreme Rules.
So the reason why we talk about the crowd is because they obviously put a clock on the screen.
Yep, that was a mistake.
And because it's Pittsburgh, they kept doing the Royal Rumble countdown thing.
Yep, of course.
So they took the screen off. They took the clock off the screen. So the fans just started guessing.
Yeah, it was really awkward.
Then, and this is from Dave's sources, apparently Dunn made the call to put the clock back up, but the crowd still did it, which meant they didn't give a shit about what actually happened in what was a very good match. Because Rollins won with a buckle bomb and a magistral, then a stomp for the second fall, and then got a third fall via DQ because Drew McIntyre beat the shit out of him, including with the Claymore.
Oh, I'm fixing deja vu like I already said that a minute ago.
No, but then Drew got thrown out.
Yep.
And then Ziggler's, what was it, 3 falls in like 2.5 minutes?
Yep.
That was very well sort of put together. Because I thought it was just going to be like, is Rollins going to win this like 14-0? But he came back. Ziggler got the palm thrust, went ahead. Then Rollins managed to get, was it just a simple catapult into the corner?
Yeah.
Nothing special?
Not really.
Did they even do the deal?
Oh, God, yes.
I can't even remember.
The deal happened later on, actually.
So Rollins just about did it with 2 minutes 2 minutes time, and then we got to the final. What, like 30 seconds?
Yep.
Was that when the deal happened?
Well, it was a little before that, actually. It happened midway through. It was before the fourth tying fall.
Yeah, I was trying to remember though what led to the finish though. Did he go for the curb stomp and just couldn't make the cover?
Yeah, it's exactly what happened. So Rollins hits the blackout. He goes for the cover. The time expires right as he lands on Ziggler. So of course Kurt Angle comes out. He goes all Gorilla Monsoon. He basically is like, nah, no way. This isn't ending like this. So he does sudden death overtime. Here comes Drew out of nowhere for a distraction, zigzag, and 1, 2, 3. Dolph Ziggler wins in the main event.
Which is always nice.
No surprise this was good. No surprise at all this was good. Crowd.
Oh, no.
The crowd may. I don't know if they announced a return or if you heard anything about them announcing a return to like a house show or anything like that. Pittsburgh's not getting a pay-per-view for a while.
I'd have thought not.
Tim says Braun's going to be your new champion. Yeah, he'll probably cash in at SummerSlam and make it a 3-way, and then he'll beat Brock, and then that'll be the end of it. Hyro says the Iron Man match is a watered-down version of Kenny Okada.
Sort of.
I somewhat see what you're saying.
But not really, because the DQ stuff you didn't really get with Okada.
One Triple S says, glad Lashley won. Dolph needs Drew more than Drew needs Dolph. And also, I could see Kenny versus Seth happening in WWE. Hopefully, don't mess it up like AJ and Shinsuke. At this point, I think it's better for everyone involved to just stay where they are. I'd like to see the match myself, but I really think that it makes more sense for everybody to stay where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because that way you can consistently have dream matches that haven't happened before that still need to happen down the line. I mean, even with the marketability of Kenny Omega, if he would, as soon as the contract is up, if he would sign with the WWE, if Cody would sign with the WWE, of course, he'd get the Rhodes name back that way. If Matt and Nick Jackson was signed with WWE, Marty Scurll, Adam Page, and I have a feeling they would just grab the whole Being the Elite group. Being the Elite being like what they did was the True Long Island Story, which it was obviously organic, and then making it into a WWE like YouTube exclusive. That's not going to work. They're not going to have exclusivity. They're not going to have control over their creative directions. I don't see why it'd be. Only thing I could see the reason why would be money. And it seems to me that they're making just as much money with what's going on with Hot Topic, New Japan, and Ring of Honor than they would have to worry about making with the WWE.
I mean, we'll see.
I mean, it'd be great because it would be awesome to see Kenny Okada at Madison Square Garden. But I guess we'll see. One Triple S wants you to talk about the Pacquiao fight.
I'll be honest, I didn't fucking watch it. With I can't remember what I was watching last night. I don't think I was. I mean, in all honesty, considering I heard of Manny Pacquiao and I hadn't heard of Lucas Matisse, I'm not surprised that he won. And the fact as well, I'm just seeing here that he went down in the 3rd and 5th before the 7th round was what claimed it. I think you can read into it what you want. I think Pacquiao was just fighting. Remember, he's still a politician in the Philippines. I think they just thought they got the right opponent for him, in all honesty, because the fact that it's his first knockout win in 9 years tells you that they actually got the right opponent this time. Or he went down too easily, because the fact that everything went to a decision or him losing over the last 9 years probably tells you quite a bit. But yeah, I'm not surprised in the result. In Pacquiao winning, the win by knockout, maybe, but as I say, they always normally when you get fighters toward the end of the career, more often than not, you do see them trying to get matches against easier opponents to not like end the career and whatever. I'm like, well, you just finished on 0. That's a great job,
So Hyro says the Grills of Destiny YouTube channel is underrated. Yeah, I totally agree. There's stuff really
I've been catching up with that over the last
good stuff. I like it.
Few days. Yeah, it's an alternate to being the Elite.
And El Jefe wants to know, wants you to go over the card for the UFC Boise show.
Oh, Boise, Idaho. Let me have a quick look.
Chad Money Mendez is back, but needs more good opponents.
UFC 226. And then get to the fight night. Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed that Dos Santos didn't get a knockout win. I mean, he obviously won because all three judges gave it 50-45. So it was pretty one-sided. Sage Northcutt's win, it's probably deserved, I'd say. Rick Glenn getting the win over Dennis Bermudez on a weird decision because one of the judges gave it 30-27 to Bermudez, but the others gave it 29-28 to Glenn. So I don't know what that third judge was watching because consistency out the fucking window. Nico and Price for their knockouts. Both got a performance of the night $50,000 bonus, so good on them. Kat Zingano, a pretty important win for her, I'd say, against Marion Reneau on the main card. But then also the fact that the first match on Fox Sports 1's prelims, the match where Renaui Barcelos beat Kurt Holloway, went to fight of the night, was probably fair because it was a pretty close thing, and even though somebody won by knockout, it was like a good performance from both men, like willing to slog it out and everything. Caramouche also won on the Fight Pass stuff. Jessica Aguilar also got a big little win for her to try and bring her back, and yeah, certainly with the scale, it was a bit of a. It was always going to be an issue for this event. The big thing, though, from what I can tell, nobody missed this event via injury or weight loss. So everyone was all right. And then we got to go to next weekend with the show in Hamburg, Germany, being headlined by a couple of light heavyweight bouts in Glover Teixeira versus Corey Anderson and Anthony Smith versus Marcio Rua. Should be interesting.
El Jefe has a question. He says, who do you think is Cormier's next opponent, Shotgun Rua or Alexander Gustafsson?
I'm going to cheat and say whoever wins the match that they're having on the undercard of on the undercard to the main event of UFC 227. It's going to be the winner of. I think it's honestly going to be the winner of Gustafsson and Ozdemir. It makes sense. He can't challenge. You can make the heavyweight division more competitive because if you're building to Lesnar, realistically, Cormier has to be next. But because Cormier will want to defend his light heavyweight title as well, I would have thought Gustafsson or Ozdemir will be pretty good in that sense. If he loses, it's not the end of the world because a fight with Lesnar is going to be much different, I'd have thought. Because I don't think... I mean, Ozdemir is a threat, certainly, as is Gustafsson. I'd say they're more threats to DC than Lesnar is. Unless Lesnar's actually sort of concentrating on it. So yeah, August the 4th is going to be interesting. But I've just noticed the Fox card from Calgary at the end of July. That's getting pretty ridiculous in itself with basically a triple main event of Joanna Jacek versus Teshia Torres, Jose Aldo versus Jeremy Stevens, and the main event being Eddie Alvarez and Justin Poirier. That's looking stacked already. Ross Pearson's on the prelims apparently as well. It's that card's looking good for something that people can actually watch for free on Fox. Because there ain't going to be stuff on free on Fox when ESPN gets the deal. So you don't know what you got till it's gone or something. That's Joni Mitchell's song. Any other questions?
I'm trying to bring up chat, and my computer is deciding it wants to be extremely slow. So if you can bring up,
no!
You can bring up chat real quick. You can.
Hopefully, it's actually all archived and it hasn't just randomly disappeared in a fit of madness.
I doubt it.
Let's double check.
It's just not My screen's not responding right now.
Owen or one Triple S says Owen will one day get UFC in his radar. To be honest, it's only when wrestlers show up. So probably when Lesnar fights, he might pay attention to it.
I mean, like I said, I brought this up last time that this was brought up in chat. I used to watch UFC back in the old days.
Back in the classic days, yeah.
Yeah, Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock and Oleg Taktarov. I mean, Hoist Gracie. These were things that I used to watch. And then I just kind of just lost interest.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even watch the wrestling I want to watch now.
You can't watch it.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, with running and going to the gym and work and spending a lot more time at Disney now, it's kind of like I don't have as much time as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got the network back now, so I mean, I can start picking up on the something to wrestle with and doing that and watching old ECW stuff and old stuff, old WCW stuff and everything. And I may have to kick back in NXT before Takeover, so I could at least have an idea what's going on somewhat. Oh, I got a couple times. Ash, do you think Holloway should vacate the featherweight title, or should we just have an interim championship?
Interim championships haven't done too badly in the past. Then again, let me just see. So I'm trying to work out whether the featherweight one is the one that's been cursed. Oh no, sort of. Because obviously McGregor became undisputed champ because of the featherweight championship that you had in WEC, World Extreme Cage Fighting. Then dropped it to Conor for the interim title because he was supposed to face Aldo, but that never happened. Then Conor actually got it, but then Conor was out of action, so Aldo got the interim title, beating Frankie Edgar. Then McGregor got stripped, so Aldo became the undisputed champ. But then the match that should have happened, the match that should have happened with Aldo and Holloway never happened. So Holloway beat Pettis, and then Holloway actually won last year. Had one defense against Aldo, who won, or beat Aldo, and then of course Holloway had his issues. If the Holloway match with Ortega can happen somewhere down the line, I would honestly say have it. And if they want to have an interim title, depending on how Holloway is, have an interim title. If they don't think Holloway's going to fight again because of those concussion-like symptoms, we'll have to see. And if they don't think he's going to fight again, it'd be easy to just strip him and have a fight to decide a new champion. In all honesty, I would say. DC doesn't want Rua, but do you think it depends if their matches are impressive? I think it's how they win their fight. I mean, DC's going to be out. In all honesty, DC's there for the money. it doesn't matter how much of a good showman the other person may be. If it means he's getting more money and more pay-per-view buys, which from what I've heard, the pay-per-view buys for the show were pretty crap, which for a International Fight Week show is like, I think there's because of the whole triumvirate thing around Gustafsson, Cormier, and Jones. I think that's more lucrative. But then at the same time, the form that Ozdemir has been in, I think has been pretty impressive in itself. In terms of Shogun, I mean, yes, I can see why he wants him, but I mean, I don't know where he is in the rankings. I mean, he last fought in March, so he'd be available and everything. But then, if you actually look at the work that he's done with Shogun's matches, he had a match in March 2014 and November 2014, but then he had August 2015, May 2016, and March 2017. He basically wrestles once a year. I don't know whether that's the sort of guy that you want, in all honesty.
Let's see. DC wants Rua, but do you think it depends if their matches are impressive? I think it's how they win their fights, says Winter Boyas.
Oh, I completely forgot. Rua was actually supposed to fight Ozdemir. I was just looking into it. But Ozdemir got pulled because of visa issues, apparently, because he couldn't go to Chile or something. So it was supposed to be happening at this weekend's UFC Fight Night in Hamburg, but it got cancelled because they put Ozdemir in the Gustafsson thing instead. So he is fighting on that fight night. I mean, the key thing is that obviously the fight night is 2 weeks beforehand. If Shogun Rua puts on a good performance and whatever and goads into it enough, they could do it. But if there's a lot of attention and a lot of media buzz and the Google searches and everything for the Gustafsson Ozdemir match, money wise, I'd say it would be more interesting to get the winner of Gustafsson and Ozdemir in all honesty. So we'll see. With regards to the what was the other one that you brought up?
Let's see. I got more UFC. This always gets started.
I'm just seeing the thing. The next thing I see in the list is, if you could go back in time, would you buy WWE ice cream and do a sip and snack on it?
Yeah, of course I would. I also would have done the cookies too. Actually, I really enjoyed the WWF Superstar cookies. I did. They were shaped like Andre and Hogan, and because this is topical, Brutus the effing Barber beefcake.
Brutus the fucking Barber beefcake, yes.
Hyrer says Frank Shamrock was a legend. Very true.
Well, he's not dead. He's still alive.
I mean, yeah, I know what you're trying to say. I think Dominic Cruz needs his rematch that he never got. If Cody wins, then again, he did beat TJ Dillashaw. It might be a possibility since Cruz might do commentary. And Khabib versus Ortega.
Yeah, that'd be good if they can get it to happen. But, there's been a lot of stuff that's, the way it's been with the weight stuff and everything, it's been pretty much a clusterfuck anyway. Have the interim belts been defended lately? Only time I remember interim belt defend was Renan Barao. As we said, basically it's happened quite a lot. If I can bring up the list of UFC champions. So the heavyweight championship. The key thing is when the interim title happens, the next aim is for the interim champion to face the current champion. As a stopgap. That always seems to, happen. Just because it sort of makes sense, you see. Because obviously the interim champion is because the champion is injured. So when the champion is fit, you want them to challenge. So in theory, you're not going to have interim championships be retained. Because on paper, I don't think Colby Covington stands a chance against Tyron Woodley. Ahead of what happened last month in Chicago. I'd like to see Khabib versus Tony Ferguson, or Khabib versus Alvarez, or Khabib versus Pettis, or Khabib versus Conor. There's a lot of dream stuff you could do there for the lightweights. But yeah, you're not going to get interim champions very often defending the interim title. As you say, Barrow in 2012 and 2013 was sort of the last one. But I think it's just remember, of course, that remember that the first featherweight champion wasn't Holly Holm; it was the Jermaine de Rondemay, the Dutch woman, who, from what I can tell, never fought again. Yeah. Ever since she won that flyweight title against Holly Holm back in February of last year, she hasn't fought again. I mean, okay, she got a hand injury back in February, but it's like, and she fighted an injury from being on a show back in September last year as well. So it's like she hasn't fought for a year and a half. Is she just going to be happy enough that she's forever been the inaugural champion? But your Romero would be good in light heavyweight. Yeah, I can certainly see that. Who's a better shit talker, Bisping or Connor? I mean, Connor, just because he's Connor. One Triple S also mentioning about, he wants to see Khabib fight Ferguson or Connor. Yeah. Did you see that mockery Cody did at a WrestlePro show with a fake Tyrone Woodley? No. I was interested in more important stuff. Like Jeff, did you see this GIF? And what? Well, not a GIF. This clip that was trending on Twitter this weekend. Some battle royal happening somewhere in America had Jeffrey the giraffe enter from Toys R Us, who got eliminated because one of the guys got on his phone, ordered an Amazon parcel, said, "It's called Amazon, bitch," smacks him over the head with the Amazon box, and eliminates Jeffrey the giraffe. Oh, that's beautiful.
Let's see. Hyro says, for Impact, I could see Moose winning the championship and feuding with Eddie Edwards.
If they want to do that angle, if Aries is done with Impact again, if he's going to be focusing on Honor of Rings.
They're really pushing Moose huge.
We're not talking Lucha Underground yet. We'll be talking that when we do the review, the television sort of stuff, when we do Raw and SmackDown and all that. It should be soon.
I mean, I can tell you. Let's see.
It's not happening on Monday.
It's not Monday. Tuesday is questionable. Wednesday is possible. It just depends. Because I have to up my mileage on Wednesday. I'm doing 5 miles in the morning before I go to work. So
the age of miles.
Yeah, trying to do a show like that night, Tuesday night, may not be a good idea. I guess we'll see.
The age of the miles.
Yeah, changing my workout plan a little bit. So. But yeah, I mean, that might be our show unless there's... Oh, never mind. El Jefe says...
Oh, never mind.
Dear Lord. This is how one doesn't get sleep. Who thinks Antonio Cueto is so bad with that wig?
Yeah.
Everyone does, I'm pretty sure.
Why else do you think I kept calling him Dario with a bad wig?
Yep.
It's just like, ugh. 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 Just like, oh. Then again, people are dying. Just in general, but also in lucha. The body, I swear, if there isn't going to be like another show coming up, everybody needs to just die. They just all get killed off via some crazy fucking shenanigans.
Like an actual, like, Acme style Looney Tunes bomb. And the explosion from
that might be a bit too crazy.
And the explosion straight out of Wrestling Society X. I'd rather see Antonio die and Dario resurrected. It would be surprising if they did something like that. Lucha Underground's known for things like this.
I completely forgot. Of course, the murdering's happening because of Matanza and his sacrifice to the gods or whatever it is. Oh, what? Christ, I've just read the write-up. I can't wait to review that. I don't want to say shit, but man, marijuana's a hell of a drug, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting write-up. The Brian and Vinny show just getting posted up on F4W. An absolutely baffling show, even by WWE standards, to the point where, without question, Nitro from 19 years ago was significantly better than this pay-per-view.
Oh, God, yes.
And this is in the time of Bash at the Beach 99 and everything. Oh my God. Hyro, we talked about Jay White and Okada. I'd rather see Antonio die and Dario Cueto resurrected. Well, yeah. Then again, do we know whether Dario actually died? We didn't see it. Is he going to take off the beard and it's like, oh my God, it was Dario all along? And it was like, of course it fucking was. Did you not see that? Lesnar showing up tomorrow? Yeah. Because it's Buffalo. You know, it's a good town. Let me have a quick look at what the schedule is, because I'm intrigued to see how many shows Brock's turning up to. To be honest, it depends on where they are. So, Buffalo, New York makes sense. Then Cincinnati, Ohio, maybe. I wouldn't say Cincinnati was a big wrestling town, would you, Owen?
Cincinnati? Not really.
No.
There's been a lot of title changes. I'd say Columbus is, but Cincinnati, not so much. Columbus, Cleveland, yes. Cincinnati, not really.
Then Miami, Florida, and Tampa, Florida for Raw and SmackDown after then. Well, Miami's just the one because of Raw. I'd say Miami is probably going to be Brock Country. Then first week in August, Jacksonville. And then Owens not going to Orlando for SmackDown.
No, I'm not going to Orlando for SmackDown.
Because he's going to the Mae Young Classic instead.
I'd like to, but it's kind of hard. It's hard to get over there. It really is.
So Jacksonville, maybe?
Possibly. I doubt it, though.
Greensboro, North Carolina on August the 13th. I'd say probably, yeah.
That's a good bet.
I mean, well, especially because that's the go home before Brooklyn. So I'd say that makes the most sense. It'll be he's there 1 week, he's not there the next. He's there, he's not there. He's there for SummerSlam. He's there for Raw afterwards. Maybe if they want to give him a send off, if he is going. Then again, he doesn't obviously have to show up at all. And then by the looks of it, the Raw and SmackDown before All In are in Toronto. The double header to culminate in that. And then Columbus, Ohio after All In weekend. That'll be interesting. So yeah. Read into that how you will. So glad that Ezekiel Jackson's not in Lucha Underground. I just started catching up with it. It's really bad for WWE also. I think the gimmick that he had was actually pretty decent. I liked it. But I'm a little bit concerned for what it means in terms of, well, like anything else. It's Big Rick was a decent enough character, but then because they didn't want to come to terms with a deal for him for any more stuff, they just didn't use him anymore, which is a shame because there's more. I'd say there's more. I see more care and effort in him doing that stuff than what is it, Vinny the fucking pizza guy? Can't even remember the name. Is it like Big Vito or something?
What about Big Vito?
The guy that's in Lucha Underground that just eats pizzas.
I don't know.
I can't remember his name. Then again, who gives a shit? All In. When's the next All In match, Cody? We need a new match.
This week, just like
Monday.
we need a new house.
Monday. Wait, we need a new house? Are you getting kicked off YouTube?
The first purge got announced for Hollywood this past week. It's time for us to take center stage coming up this week. I'm thinking it's a good possibility we get an announcement this week.
No, we're going to Atlanta?
No.
Can center the stage.
I want to. Don't get me wrong. I was also, talking
how is it
about
the first
going
purge?
up, and actually,
there was a purge house 2 years ago.
Yeah, there shouldn't have been. That's another story.
No, but it's like, how is it the first purge? It's not.
The first movie. Yes, the first purge movie that just came out is getting a house in Hollywood. So.
Probably makes sense.
How many times is Brian Cage going to lose another Lucha Underground Championship match?
Probably forever, because he doesn't have the glove of love.
Yeah, apparently.
He loves his glove. All the gloves.
That might be the show.
Hopefully. I mean, it might not be. That'd be the swerve.
That might be. Let's see if it is.
Don't write anything. Here comes everybody just... Who watches Glow? I haven't caught up with the second season yet. I've heard pretty good things about the second season, though. It's been getting good reviews.
Same.
Which is always good.
And on that note, I think that might be our show.
One.
All right, so.
Oh, we're all yawning.
When are the next? I have to be up in 5 hours. When are the next Bellator matches?
Say again. Sorry.
When are the next Bellator matches?
The next big ones of interest, I think, aren't till like maybe September-ish. Let me just have a quick look. Some matches happen this weekend. Nothing that I can see that really piques my interest. There's nobody of interest on the Sioux Falls, South Dakota show in August. Yeah, September 29th, it's got Rampage, Jackson Vonderlei Silva, and Musashi Roy McDonald. And they did announce apparently this week Mitrione versus Bader, the first semi-final, is happening in Uncasville, Connecticut. It's Uncle's Village. So those of you asking what happened to the heavyweight Grand Prix and the heavyweight title thing, I guess they were listening because it's coming October 12th, a few weeks after the Musashi McDonald stuff. So it'll get busy in a few months. Hopefully.
All right.
And here comes some more random comments, probably. Wait,
Yeah.
Big Daddy Volta? You want me to play fucking Dvorak? Where's my fucking Dvorak?
God. So yeah, that's our show. Once again, I want to thank everyone for joining us live or in archive in our chat rooms. We always have a great time with everybody. If you want to join the chat room next time, you're more than welcome to. Follow me on Twitter to find out when we're going to be doing another show. Most likely it'll be either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, one of the three options, as we build towards SummerSlam and
G1.
The G1 and All In and getting further and further towards
Slammiversary.
Yeah.
Slammiversary next week. I have no clue what we're doing with that.
We'll see.
Oh, the most important tweet of the week. Chuck Taylor just tweeted, "My mum doesn't like when I talk about Satan on here."
Hi, Macy Vale. So, Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK.
More Gaming with Ash coming, more Snacks Ash coming in the near future.
Hopefully in the next day or two, I might be able to get something done.
We had a Versus that was supposed to come out today. AJ wasn't able to get it up today, so that's the reason why we don't have it. That's the reason why you got a bonus Sip and Snacks. You got the 2 chocolate peanut butter Sip and Snacks on Saturday and Sunday. But Versus is coming in the next couple days, so stay tuned for that. Follow the network at Popcast Network. Follow me on Twitter at Siro and Disney, and check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network. And stay tuned for more content coming this week. We've got Sip and Snacks coming. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming in the near future. And very soon, we're going to announce everything for Halloween Horror Nights. And once that is done, we're going to be back.
Apparently.
So that's going to be our show. And as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you have chosen a Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
One Triple S, you asked for this. Big Daddy Ashley is here. All praise Antonin Dvorak. And this video of Korean girls dancing to it in skimpy attires. This is on YouTube. How is this not on Pornhub?